Is the rhythm of the This is the rhythm of the
Hello, welcome to this episode of Star Blood Chronicles. That's my friend. I'm your captain, Dragonpaw. And this is a special episode for Mother's Day because we're talking about children, the hybrid children that you may have heard of if you follow some of Daryl Anka's work or you just followed any ufology. You would have known that there have been creations made from our DNA, and that's what we're here to talk about today. Let's start. Oh, well, let me tell you what they actually call themselves. These are the Yael, the hybrid children call themselves Yael. So I'm going to begin with what some of you have known to be abductions. I've been taken, so a psychic has told me. But I know there's plenty of females that have memories of being taken, and that's why this is a Mother's Day special. Uh, the abductions happen, not all of them, but some of them, have been due to the agreements made by many individuals before birth to help grow the hybrid beings, to grow that civilization. The story is that these grays that people see when they get abducted uh, in another dimension, that these grays got to a point where they could no longer breed. They could not create, they cannot create natural beings in the way that we know it, like mammals. So they were faced with dying out. And in order for them to continue their civilization, they needed DNA. It's as simple as that. They just needed to find DNA. And they made contracts with not only humans, but the people's governments to allow them to extract DNA from humans. Not all abductions are done nicely. Obviously, they they say that they have a lack of emotion, these grays, which they do. Uh, there are still many dark ETs out there that abduct people for not just DNA but for far worse things. Okay, what we're talking about here is just for these specific hybrid children, the Yael, that will be and probably already have been, because I know they have been living among us. So for now, we're only going to speak of this hybrid children program. You can call it a program if you want. Uh, these children will and have ultimately begun living on this planet now. I might even have a few children, hybrid children myself, A psychic did tell me that. The more I dig and unlock, it seems like I've been taken to assist in this evolution of these beings. But I'll get to that later. The children will be known as the sixth hybrid race. Humans, we are known in the galactic world as the fifth. So they're going to be mixed with us and other things to be the sixth hybrid race, the Yael. They have been coming to Earth recently to start getting acclimated to our style of living. They have our DNA, but that does not mean they understand our concepts or any not even jokes, things so simple to us. Now they're being brought with guides, of course, most likely um, grays, different grays. There's many grays, and yeah, they're living here. They have been spotted living in abandoned houses. So to all my ghost investigation friends out there, you're not always gonna find what you're looking for. So there have been reports of ghosts that, or even they calling them demons that look like us but are different, bigger eyeballs, some black eyes, but some very different colors, just more colors than the rainbow in their eyes. Big, ovally shaped, larger heads, some bald, some with hair. But these are not um, dark spirits. What people are seeing are hybrid children actually in real time living this program. They're being placed within our midst, but not exactly with us yet, because to be honest, we can't be trusted with them yet. But they're around and they're learning everything we do, and I think I think it's pretty cool. So these hybrid children are the next generation to carry a race that was about to die, to carry that lineage for more than just that particular genre of extraterrestrials or extra dimensionals. That's what they really are, extra dimensionals. And they're just gonna survive and thrive. And pretty soon, this planet will be for the next type of humans as we evolve to our next place of existence. They are basically just practicing to live with us and to learn our customs. It is all very, very new to them, such as eating from a plate and using utensils. All things normal to us are alien to them. The first ones coming to Earth are going to be in their teen years, a little older, more well versed in our culture, human culture. But the longer we start to accept them, then they younger will come and start to learn uh, on the playing field. They'll come straight to here and learn. We'll learn from each other, obviously. Some people might not understand this, but it must be said. Sometimes what we think is a miscarriage in a woman's pregnancy can be a contract with that human and an entity, or could be a gray, for the human woman to carry a hybrid embryo for a small amount of time. When it seems like you lost the child and there's no fetus, just blood or whatever, it is because the embryo has reached the point where it can now be cared for on the spaceships in what they call the okay hybridization tanks. That's where they continue to grow the fetus. Um, so whether you accept it or not, it doesn't matter. It's happening. They're coming. They're here. Um, my experience from what a psychic gave me, and I don't go see psychics a lot because I practice my own intuition and I meditate. But I did go see um, someone that I follow who her guide is a Palladian guide who she works with, and she told me that I've been abducted in a good way. She said, I said, oh, I didn't know there was one, and there actually is that. I'm more of an information. I'm like a storage drive for them. They come and review the life. They do that with many people. Like it's not just me. It's worldwide where they just get information about our civilization because we're one of the newest hybrids, the fifth hybrids, and they're making way for the sixth. And what she said was that not only do they gather your DNA, but there's a contract that you make on the other side before you're even born to help out in certain different programs just like this one. And that I have one, which would mean I might have my own hybrid children somewhere, which is not too crazy after all of the research I've done and seen that it can be possible. I mean, Noah's Ark was an actual spaceship, and instead of actually getting the animals, all they needed to do was gather DNA vials so they can store millions of them. I don't think it was literal animals. But anyway, in one of my other experiences of this, which was one of my very first experiences, which I think I've only said on one podcast before, was in my beginning, in the beginning time when I used to practice meditation. Like now it's easier, and I know how to get into that gamma that gamma stage. But when I was first practicing, I did not know what I was doing. I was just trying to be quiet and sit. But one of my very first visions that came to my mind's eye when you're meditating happened to actually be a gray looking extraterrestrial holding out an infant child to me. I'm not going to lie, that's just what I saw, and I was not trying to picture anything. So to me, that broke my concentration right away, and I was just like, what? What did I just see? What's going on? And so that's kind of some things that I think that I might be involved in this program more. They would know more than I do. That's all I can tell you. But now, this brings me to another situation. So, anyways, back to what I was saying. Um, Bashar doesn't really give us too much information on it because it's very touchy subject right now, especially uh, trying to prepare people for more and more interactions with hybrid children. But he does, if you look up some of his videos, he has the children write notes or a little bit about what they want to learn from us, and it's something to watch, something to hear. They're very interested in the piece of their genetics that relates to us, and they just want to understand and learn as we should want to do too. But so this brings me to an incident that happened in Brazil. It was called Varginha, Brazil, when there was a an extraterrestrial, extra dimensional craft crashed, and the Brazilian military right away went zeroed in on the object and found it, took it away, but they didn't find the beings because the beings had left. There was different grays and different hybrid children with them doing the same living situation program, but in Brazil. But they had something had went wrong where they crashed, right? And so there's these sisters, these girls. You could look it up. Look up UFO Brazil, Varginha. January 1996 is when that happened. And you'll see their little renditions that they try to make them look goblin like. But some of the beings they saw were actually just hybrid children and their guides trying to just get away because they know how militaries treat them here. So we are not ready for them to intermingle with us completely, but individuals, which might be me, which would be cool, they're gonna start making more contact with people who are ready and open to the idea. Yeah, so check that out. So one other thing I wanted to bring up, because you see the pictures I used to give you an idea of what they look like. I don't want them to be confused with black-eyed children. If you're in the paranormal business or you love scary stories, you already know that black-eyed children, it's not fun and games when they when they appear to you or when you see them knocking on your doorstep. So black-eyed children have a sinister energy to them. They are extra dimensional as well. People think that they're demonic, but they are more vampiric than anything. If you get a knock on your door in the middle of the night, number one, do not open that door. Number two, do not speak to them. And number three, don't ever open the door. Because what's going to happen is that in the spiritual world, that's consent. Not only is your fear consent, but just opening the door allows them to step in, right? So you don't want to do that. If you see two, three black-eyed children, sometimes they got hoodies, sometimes they don't. They need to be allowed in to your home or into your car. Some people report seeing them on the side of the roads and they're like, we need a ride. Can we use your phone? And they're very persistent. So you got to understand the difference with these children because they're going to probably try to pretend they're extraterrestrial hybrid children at some point. I'm already seeing the future. But yeah, you have to be careful with the black-eyed children. They will look like kids asking to use a cell phone or to come inside your house for help. But you must wait it out. You have to wait it out. It can go all night until the daylight comes up. But eventually, they will become angry. You know, they'll show you that they are not nice. They must be allowed inside to be able to attack you. So never let anyone in your home. They wear hoods and have the blackest eyeballs. Okay, do not let them in. I think the difference from the way Bashar explains the hybrid children is that even though some of them have, of course, there are going to be some black eyes, but they look like they have galaxies inside of them. Beautiful, like starry looking eyeballs. Whereas black-eyed children are known for having nothing but blackness. So it's gonna be interesting how people uh, discern this. But always trust um, a tree to show you. It'll show you by the fruits a tree bears what kind of tree it is. So if you get a very persistent and angry fruit, you know that tree is not a good tree. So be very careful when you're in the forest, especially. That's where a lot of black-eyed children be kicking it. Also, I wanted to end this little bit of information with what Bashar has said about why people like me and other people who see UFOs, I see them a lot more now than ever before. And when I first started getting into this, is when it really boom, boom, boom. I would see things like all the time, especially around 4 a.m. when I leave to train around 5 a.m. You could see the coolest things moving in the sky, and it seems like it's just for you, but they're probably just passing by, like what up, doc? And then so what he says about the when you're seeing a spaceship and it's just there like hovering looking back at you, that is most likely more than not yourself or some of your hybrid children looking at you. Because if what Bashar says is true, that Bashar is Daryl Anka's future hybrid itself, then who's to say that we don't have our own hybrided bred selves? See what I'm saying? So it was a cool perspective to think of. I was like looking at spacecraft. I'm like, dude, that's probably me looking back at me. But I thought it was a cool concept to end on. And that's just a little bit, that's just an introduction on what's going on with the hybrid children at this point. So don't trip out if you see some cute little big eyeball beings walking around. Just keep your cool. All right. Thank you. Have a good night. Oh, happy Mother's Day to all the hybrid mothers and human mothers too.